Meeting is being recorded and it will be posted to the town's YouTube channel. Call the meeting to order. We're going to pass by the first item on the agenda, minutes. I will have those out to you after today's meeting and we can discuss them at the next meeting. The next item on the agenda is the beach mats. So I do have some not so good news about the beach mats.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So what happened was, we had the money set aside. It was in the Parks and Rec capital budget. And we had decided to wait to order the mat till springtime because we were concerned about storage over the winter. So right around March, and Missy, you can develop the timeline, but right around March, we were thinking about ordering it when we were going to put it out. It was still winter time. And then, of course, we had our shutdown. I know that they had reached out to you initially, like way back in March, saying we're still here, but then I think they shut down too after that.
Oh,
Yeah. So we didn't order the mat. By the time we got back up and running, by the time they got back up and running, the budget year was close to ending. And so Nicole, our finance director, had put out a request because it was a capital expense for carryover because we didn't use it in the fiscal year. I submitted the request for the carryover and it was denied. So we money. Yeah. So by submitting the request, Don and I both requested it be carried over. And the Board of Finance went through all the carryover requests, and some they were allowed to carry over and some went back. I know, Missy, I'm so sorry. All that work we did.
No.
And the idea of
so
having.
we just got to request it again for another year? Is that what we do?
But budget for next year is done, so we'll have to start our planning again from the beginning or find other sources. I mean, we originally talked about funding other sources. Soliciting donations, writing grants, so we can still look into that.
Curiosity, did they give any explanation to deny or no with things like that? I don't know how it works.
I didn't specifically ask Don if they came back and said anything. Basically, after that meeting, there was just a list of what got carried over, and you can see that we weren't on it. So, because it was in Don's budget, maybe they said something to him. I'm not sure about that. I can follow up with him about that and see if there was a specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to be honest, I really do think COVID played a huge part in that because when that happened, the town hall shut down, the company was really not as available. And then, of course, I was very busy, dealing with the fallout of the COVID. So I do take responsibility for it, but it was certainly a combination of circumstances.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well,
and at that time, I don't think the beach mat is at the top of the priority list when there's a pandemic going on. Right. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Exactly. But I do, I don't want to completely let it go. I do think it's an important thing to have. And, I certainly, where was I? Oh, was it Hammonasset? I'm like, look, a beach mat. It's like, you do see them at other places. So we're just going to keep going with it. And I'm not going to let it go entirely, but it's just starting back kind of close to the beginning again.
Square two.
I like that stuff. That's a good one. Any other questions about the beach mat? Okay. The next thing I put on the agenda for today was the conference, and I sent you this morning an email. I feel like I sent it before too, maybe like a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, but every year I go in person in the past to the conference. The conferences are great. There's always great speakers and I learn a lot, but of course they're virtual now. So, because it's virtual, it's actually, they're getting speakers from all over the country and they're spreading it out like every Friday for 5 weeks or something. And I thought the topics were very timely because I could have pick and chose which ones I wanted to go to, but I said, forget it, I'm going to all of them. So I signed up for all of them. If anyone else would like to go to any of them or any of those particular sessions appeal to you, just review it and we can put the request in.
Okay.
What was the time on that, Jen, again? I know I remember seeing it, but.
It starts in October. So it's like it's like 5 Fridays in October, I want to say.
But do you know what time of the day it is?
Oh, let's check that email. Hold on. I just got the email earlier, a reminder email.
10:30 to 11:45. It looks like the first one is October 30th.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and then they have a morning session and an afternoon session. Breakout A and breakout B.
Oh, yeah, and then noon to 1:15.
Yeah, noon to 1:15. So you can kind of like pick and choose.
Right.
Which ones you want to go to. So
yeah, I'll peek at that. You had the list there in the email.
All the topics, like The very first one, no, the next one. Let's go back to the first one. Disability language and etiquette. I thought that was very timely. Convincing organizations to meet ADA requirements using structured negotiation.
How does ADA feel about COVID?
Well, that's a big issue because of, especially around the masks.
Well,
right?
that's what I'm wondering. I mean, I know, you know, that, you know, I just don't know how it affects, you know, COVID and what mask wearing and
Right.
what's acceptable and not acceptable. And
Yeah, it hasn't been an issue in the town that I'm aware of in terms of what our responsibility is as a town committee. You know, might have a different effect on businesses, which are covered by a different part of the ADA. So I haven't really heard, I've read little bits here and there. I haven't heard anything major. Has anyone else?
no, and I was just curious because I know we don't have as much of an issue with it, but I know other places do, you know what I mean, in the country. And I was like wondering like what the protocol is. I mean, I know for senior centers, in the requirements at some point when we open again, it does say everybody will be wearing masks or they will be participating in programs virtually. So it is in that, you know what I mean? But I'm wondering as a town, you know, the thing that may come up sometime. I mean, you guys might be in a, you know, at the youth services, or you might be at the town hall. And if somebody says, well, I can't wear one because I'm, you know, I have a medical condition, what is the responsibility then of the town?
Well, it's always been the case where if you can provide an equivalent service, you know, so if you can do the same service without the person being there in person,
Right.
you know, for example, we did a lot of mail-in stuff. We requested mail-in for the tax payments. We requested mail-in even for the
Right.
programs that I operate. It can all be done virtually. You know, you drop your paperwork off, I'll do it. I'll mail it to you. You mail it back to me. You're still
Right.
providing the service. If the
Right.
person, even if it's not medically exempt, to don't feel comfortable coming in, even wearing a mask, you know, because
Right.
people still are that feeling, or their children have told them they're not allowed to leave the house, or you know, whatever the situation is. So, I do know in the schools, and Missy can address this too, but they were very clear. They said if your child is not able to wear a mask, you can't just say that. You have to have like a not just a doctor's note. Like we're going to call the doctor and grill them about it.
Well, it has to be, I think if your child's unable to wear a mask, it has to be written into an IEP in the schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I know that at the middle school, I mean, and of course, a lot of people did opt out. Well, like 10% opted out for virtual only learning, you know, Lime. But they said that there weren't any at the middle school kids wearing not wearing masks. I think everyone who's there is wearing one, as far as I know. But it's
Gotcha.
not so relevant to us as a town because they're dealing with it. But it's a good question, Stephanie. We should keep our eyes as we continue to go forward. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be effective.
Especially because I don't think this is going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, no, and I know with like Lamont's mandate on the masks, like it said, I mean, this is just in general, but I think you have to have a doctor's note. You have to have a written thing from your doctor. Like you can't just say, I have, you know, asthma, I'm not wearing a mask or whatever. Like you have to have written documentation with you.
And I could see it affecting more the business world than town, us, especially being a smaller town, to affect us. But we definitely want to be aware of that. And I have had no requests for accommodation or complaints. So that's everything's good on that front.
Good.
Is there anything else? We are having some meetings in person, but certainly most of them are still virtual. So we really haven't had much to do for the assistive listening devices or a request for those because very few meetings are in person.
As like a sidebar to that, Jen, we did just order for the spider phone in the meeting hall. We ordered 2 extension microphones to make it easier for people to hear on the calls and stuff. So hopefully that will help.
What was that about? Jill, I'm sorry.
In the meeting hall, we have like the, like the spider phone that you use when you're making a conference call.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's been hard for people to hear when they call in. So you can plug into like extension microphones.
Oh, okay.
So we just ordered those. So hopefully that's going to make the sound quality better for people who are using the phone.
The
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance are still doing phone only, right? Not video.
Right. Yeah.
I love the call-in meetings.
I know you can go
Just saying.
like I'll have a 7:00 meeting at night and I'm home and it's like, I don't have to drive. I'm just.
I know. I love virtual meetings.
So nice.
Maybe we can do a little update. Maybe you have any update from LYSB or Stephanie from Senior Center. I was thinking specifically Stephanie too, because you guys have a building committee.
Yes. I'm so sorry, Jen. I know you just said something and I heard my name in it, but I couldn't make out what you said. I
Yeah,
apologize.
I'm having a hard time.
She wants updates from each of you. That's what
Okay,
she
in
was
regards
asking.
to what?
Well, for you, she said the building committee, if there's anything related to that.
No, we're not even close to that. Like, we're not even close to, we just got the facilities audit done. We're gonna be meeting, I'd have to look at my calendar, but, we're gonna be meeting soon. And going over that audit. Obviously, when it would go to the point where we were looking at developing a plan, of course, it would have to be ADA compliant, So, my concern is like trying to find a way in and out of this building when we do open up, because everybody goes in and out of the front door. So the only way I can possibly think that it would work, because you can't go through the kitchen, you can't go on that other spot, because one way it's like a big drop and the other way, well, not a big drop, but if you have a walker or a wheelchair, it's a big drop. The other way is where Meals on Wheels is going out of. So you kind of know the way our building. So the only way I can think of is to go out the porch, but we would need to get some sort of ramp to put out there when that would be, as a temporary stop fix. So we could have people going in one way and out another way, instead of meeting halfway. So, there's definitely things, that we have to look out for our people that have limited mobility and, mobility issues. And then, of course, you have winter right around the corner. So then you've got to find a way to make it so it's safe, so it's.
I was just thinking about that because your entrance is covered, but
You can't go in and out the same.
yeah.
So it's definitely a perplexion right now. But as of this point, we are not going to be opening till stage 3. And I kind of say whichever comes last, January 1st, we're looking at. So January 1st or stage 3. So stage 3 is the point where they say people that are 65 and over can be out and about. Right now they're saying, please stay home, stay safe in stage 2. So originally we were thinking stage 3 was going to be August, but no, July, but that didn't happen. And so now we're looking at the end of the year. So we still have some time to think about how we're going to, and when we do back, it won't be, everybody's going to be in big groups and we're going to be in, it's going to be limited stuff, that we're not already doing. We're doing a lot of limited stuff now, but it's just not in our building, So, but anyways, I don't know if that's what you were looking for, but.
Definitely. Anything, Missy, in particular you want to share from LYSB?
I mean, not really. We're just trying some minimal programming, but not a lot, and only outdoors. So I have, I'm trying to run the middle school after school. I couldn't run any elementary things just because of the bus and the cohorting and whatnot. But so I'm trying to run middle school after school programs 2 days a week outside. But I just really feel like people aren't. I think school is a lot for people, and then that's what they are interested in, and then that's enough, because usually I have high numbers for that, and I really don't. I have 7 kids signed up, and like 2 coming on a daily basis. And I've tried to do a bunch of like one-off programs that you could do outside, socially distance, and like tie-dye and hand stitch masks and friendship bracelets, things like that. And I'm just not getting interest from people for programming right now. Which is fine with me because I'm super uncomfortable being around anyone. So it's fine. I feel like we're trying to offer things. I'm adding more and more all the time, but we're not having a huge amount of taking right now. So it's kind of it's like weird. It's hard to explain. It makes me feel better, at least not being able to offer programming like normal, that at least there's not some giant need for it that we're not meeting.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause for 1 second because my mom had to go to the doctor this morning. So, Michelle, could you talk about something else?
Sure. Let's see. Steph, how long are you going to be at the center today? Because I have something for you.
I'm here till 3.
Okay, I'm going to swing by in a little while then.
Great. You can just ring the bell if you want. Of course, we're not unlocked, so there's a
Oh.
doorbell to the right of the building. So
Okay.
just give it a ring, and I'd be happy to come out. Yeah, not a problem. It's good to see you, Miss. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, because I just like completely forgot about last month's meeting or last
Oh,
meeting.
that's fine. It's just nice to see your face. I
You too.
wasn't trying to call you out. I was just it's nice to see your face.
I feel so bad. It's like I feel like between like with the virtual meetings and then my son's home, he's doing school from home with me. And so between that, it's just like trying to figure everything out and get to everything on time. And
I think everybody is a little discombobulated from all this. And I think our at least mine, and I've talked to other people, I'm not going to speak for you guys, but it seems like you can't keep track of the days.
I know it's hard.
It's just so hard to do,
I know. I did it the other day to at the beginning of the month to a Park and Rec meeting. I literally just like all week, I'm like, okay, Thursday I have a meeting, 5 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. Like, Friday morning, I'm like, oh.
The best we
It
can.
even happened to me last week. I check the calendar in the morning, but I didn't this particular Monday. And I forgot that I was supposed to start a WebEx for one of the boards and commissions. So at like 15 minutes after the start, I got like a frantic text from Vicky. Oh, the meeting is started. I was like, oh my God.
I know.
Oops.
So hard. So hard.
Well, at least we all understand, there's no judgment. Everybody's kind of had their own experience with it. So.
Yeah.
I think it's okay, for us as a committee, this is a good update meeting. We don't have, like I said, we don't have any complaints or requests for accommodation. So,
Yeah.
We'll just meet again in 2 months and continue on our work.
Sounds good.
I can report
Perfect.
back at our next meeting about some of the classes that I've gone to, and maybe that'll give us some ideas and a fresh perspective, for how we want to go forward.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Any
Thanks, Jen.
All right.
Want to bring forward? No.
I'm good. I'll see you later today, Michelle.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, Jen.
Merci.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye.
Take care.